So hi, my name is Max. I'm the Chief Scientific Officer of Sova.Health, and we are a precision nutrition company based out of Gurgaon, Delhi, NCR. So for me, it's actually a very personal matter. My wife is afflicted with a disease called celiac disease, which makes her body intolerant to a protein called gluten. And it took her many years to understand that that's what she has, and she had a very long and grueling journey with that, because what this disease does is basically prevents the body from absorbing certain nutrients, which made her deficient in various vitamins, and also which made her deficient in various vitamins and very, very tired and miserable. And it took her several years to understand what was going on. And for me, as a biologist and a geneticist, it was very interesting from the scientific standpoint, trying to understand what was the mechanism that was making my wife sick. So from that, I came to the concept of what works for me nutritionally might not work for my neighbor, or precision nutrition. Now, this is a very trendy concept, but not a very new one, because it's common sense to understand that some people, like my wife, might have health issues that would prevent them from consuming certain foods, but also the reactions that we're having as people to the same food can differ widely between person to person. For example, people have different response to carbohydrates or to consuming sugar. When we consume sugar, sugar breaks down in our intestine and goes into our blood, creating a spike of sugar in our blood, and we have a whole feedback loop where our body would secrete insulin to rid us of the sugar in our blood, because this is dangerous for us. And this feedback loop is what's keeping us healthy over time. Now, different people have different sensitivity of their body with secreting insulin in the case when sugar is spiking in their blood. This is something that most people understand conceptually, but they don't have any way of knowing unless they can get tested and understand which foods are good for them. So now we have a plethora of companies addressing these issues, from looking at our DNA and understanding how our genetics are working towards our body's ability to process certain foods, and also looking at the community of microbes that inhabit us, known as the gut microbiome in that sense, with very promising results on how this microflora in our gut is actually helping us controlling our sugar. And there are several other companies that are trying to do a more standardized questionnaire-based personalized nutrition program by understanding deeply what people are consuming on a daily basis and their habits. Now, these three verticals are not as informative on their own as a simple blood test, because our blood is the highway of information of our body. Every metabolite, every process that is happening in our bodies is reflected in our blood, and it's very, very, very easy to test and get an abundance of useful information just from a simple blood test. So the concept of personalized nutrition is not a very new concept. Even in olden days, you have a plethora of different diets because of religious and cultural reasons that people thought would suit them better than others. Now, the real boost to this concept happened in the early 2000s, when we started to have the ability to sequence DNA very cheaply, and people understood that their genetics actually has an influence on what they eat. And with that came the notion of nutrigenomics, or personalized nutrition by DNA. Later on, we started actually reading data from the microbial communities in our guts, and understood that this microbial community, which we could now identify, has a very, very deep interplay with our bodies in determining the way we process our food. Also, In the West, when metabolic diseases became prominent in the 50s, people understood that these diseases are caused by nutrition and used blood tests to differentiate between different people and have recommendation. It's a no-brainer. If you have diabetes and you're consuming sugar, then you're hurting yourself, and in core, it's personalized nutrition. Now, you have also companies who are doing digitally, right? They're trying to measure digitally the different biomarkers we have. For example, our wearable watch would monitor our sleep quality by measuring how much we move and also our heart rate through the night, right? And give us a measure of how good our sleep is. So on their own, these whole streams of data have a lot of good information, but they cannot solve this problem on their own. So there needs to be a combination, but the most valuable and the most informative one is looking at the blood, because in the blood you have 3,000 different biomarkers that you can monitor, but only 40 or 50 can already give you a very, very good amount of information that you can act upon and improve your nutrition and lifestyle enhance. So in Sova, we have a holistic approach that combines information about the way you're already eating, because we understand there's a psychological element for people to follow a certain diet. We have to give them what is available to them and what is enabling them to act. Also, we combine their habits. Actually, when you're eating could be a lot of the time much more important than what you're eating. How you're eating is also can be very, very important and actually reflected in your blood, which we also check for over 40 different biomarkers with a personalized panel that we develop for every patient by their goals, their lifestyles, their age, their BMI, and other parameters. We curate this personalized panel, and then we combine their habits, their blood results, and also their current diet to give them something which is easily actionable and based on actual data from their body, from their blood. We do this iteratively for 2 months with a weekly consultation with a certified nutritionist, and then after 2 months we check the blood again to see if this is working. For example, if I have an iron deficiency and I'm prescribed an iron supplement after my first blood test because I can see I'm low in iron, but my body is unable to absorb this iron, then I'm doing nothing. And I really want to make sure that I'm getting the iron in the blood where it should be, rather than the iron just going right through me. Same as a lot of people are unaware of many vitamin deficiency they have. The numbers in India are staggering. It's 9 out of 10 people has some sort of vitamin deficiency. Now, this is a major public health issue, but also personally, at a young age, it brings health issues, complications such as diabetes. Vitamin D deficiency can promote diabetes. Vitamin D deficiency can promote the development of mental diseases such as depression. And India is the world #1 country in vitamin D deficiency because people just spend their whole time indoors. They don't go out. And the way we make vitamin D is through exposure to the sun. People are deficient and they're getting sick. So with a very simple tool like a blood test, you can diagnose this, address it, and make sure that this is working.